Make your own Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, Flipkart, Etsy, Airbnb. The stage is set. All you need is our Docan multi-vendor solution. Creating a multi-vendor marketplace has never been easier. Achieve your dreams of becoming the next online marketplace giant. Get Docan and bring the power of entrepreneurship to your fingertips. www.weDevs.com/Docan. Make your own Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, Flipkart, Etsy, Airbnb. The stage is set. All you need is our Docan multi-vendor solution. Creating a multi-vendor marketplace has never been easier. Achieve your dreams of becoming the next online marketplace giant. Get Docan and bring the power of entrepreneurship to your fingertips. www.weDevs.com/Docan.
Hello. So,
good afternoon.
Omar. Yeah. So, how are you doing, Anthony?
Good. How are you over there in India?
Hello. I'm doing great. So let's start off. Let me just start off by introducing myself, and we can totally get into the webinar. So yeah, to my audience, hello, this is Humayra bint Omar, the Community Relations Executive of weDevs. And of course, welcome back to yet another webinar. And today we're going to talk about a very, I think, important aspect of website, which is website security. Before I go ahead to our dear audience, I would like to say, please let us know if you have any questions or even if you like to share your thoughts. Just tell what your name is and comment below in our comment sections, and we'll try our best to answer all of your questions. So today, of course, as we have with us is Anthony, who is our brand ambassador all the way from Australia. Anthony, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
G'day all. As Mara said, I'm Anthony. I'm the Australian ambassador for weDevs, which I love. And I'm here because I love everything WordPress, and I hope in the short time that we have today that you enjoy our talk about WordPress security.
So I'm actually very excited, to be honest, to talk about this topic. I feel like this is a very important topic. The people really need to put emphasis on this. Because, I feel like security is something which is very much people need to know to get aware of it. As you know, the cybersecurity attacks are increasing day by day as the technology is getting advanced by the day. So, Anthony, why do you think cybersecurity or web security in general is so important for the people?
It's so important to maintain your website, to maintain your privacy, to make sure you don't get hacked and your website redirects to somewhere that you don't want it, and that really affects your brand. And with WordPress being about, I think the last stats I heard was about 43% of the entire internet, it really is something that people look to hack. So hopefully today's tips will give them a bit more knowledge and help them on their way to securing their WordPress sites.
Of course, you'll get into the whole tips and tricks for our audience. But before we start off, I would like to say, before discussing the very important reasons why website security is hampered, I would also like to add is, you should keep in mind web hosting is very important. I know this is something you don't need to really look for a tutorial to look into or something, but do keep in mind that web hosting is very important for which platform that you use for hosting your website. Because I think myself, I have, got this problem where I chose poor hosting, and it actually created a lot of security issues in my own website that I have. So I think this is a small tip from me. Of course, you're going to know from the expert, and he's going to show you all the ways how you can actually protect your website. So Anthony, why don't you tell us the key aspects for which the website security is actually hampered?
Absolutely. Look, people build websites, and at the end of building a website, they look to do a couple of things. They look to tune the website to make it as fast as possible for SEO, and then they look to secure the website. And probably, I mean, it's probably obvious to a lot of people, but I'll give you 3 of my top tips. And then what we can do is we can talk about a 4th option, which is a little bit more technical. Now, we don't have a lot of time, so if anybody wants to talk about them in more detail, let's happy to discuss it in the weDevs Australia community channel. So out of my top 3 tips, the most obvious one is WordPress has come such a long way. It really is secure to what it used to be, but people still aren't updating it. So there's a lot of holes that get plugged. And I think 2 out of 3 hacks are from holes that have been exposed already. So if these are exposed, 9 times out of 10, WordPress will plug those gaps, and all you need to do is keep your WordPress current. So that's really, I know it's obvious, but your WordPress core, your theme, your plugins, all those kind of things, keeping those up to date is really 90% of the issue. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is have a firewall plugin like WordFence. WordFence is so simple. It's free. You can tune it to do 90% of what you want. I would even recommend considering buying the full product. It's a great plugin, and there's a free version of it. So make sure if you have any type of issues, grab that, put it on, and you'll be doing well. Tip number 3.
That's very good. Yeah, you're really right about that. I think that WordPress actually helps out a lot. I think a lot of people actually used it and they found it very useful. Yeah, go ahead.
All the websites we build, we now put WordPress free on by default. Number 3, the thing that we do for every website now is everybody knows when you do a default installation of WordPress, /WP admin is how you log in as an admin. And people sit there and there are script bots, that scan your website, bad bots that try to, fill in your forms and fill in the contact and the admin logins on the website. So just by changing your admin login from WP admin to something you choose is fantastic.
You see, these are like very simple things like hosting, like, changing your WP admin. It's just like, if you follow the simple tricks and tips, and it's gonna bring a massive change, and it's gonna help your website to be secured. It's not much. I think the technical things are, of course, there are like very many technical things that you do to to secure your website, but I think basic things are some things that we people tend to miss out. Even me, I tend to miss out. So I think these are very important, and thank you for sharing. And yeah, go ahead, please, Anthony.
And then you're absolutely right. So updating your WordPress core, when you do it often, things don't break. And it's these people that leave it a long time, and that's when things start to break when you do your updates. The WordFence plugin, that's for free. There's a plugin for if you're afraid to do it yourself, afraid to edit files. There's actually a plugin, WP Hide Login, that will actually change your login for you. So these things are becoming really easy, really simple. And I'll pop the names of all these plugins in the Australian channel as well. So for the 4th option, we're going to get a little bit more technical here. So what I'll do, if you let me, I'll share my screen.
Yeah, for sure.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So there's a 4th option. Cloudflare is a great service. It's a free service. They have a free option. That's why I think we should discuss it today. They, as part of their free service, what people can do is change their name servers. I know I might be talking technical here, so if anybody has any questions, again, the channel. Change your name servers, and then DNS is run by Cloudflare. The great thing about it is you can write some really simple firewall rules. So what I've done is I've quickly done 3 rules that I use in this order, and this will help you. So the first rule that I've written is the geo-block. So if my websites are in Australia, do I really need to be talking to Russia, Romania, those kind of nations? Not only that, I'm blocking people who might be doing my ad clicks or scanning my website. So those are really big things. I still want to leave open wherever the Google bot comes from, which is America. There are some bots out of Ireland. So we don't want to block every country, but really quickly, this is a great option for you. The second one, we talked about bad bots a little bit that scan our website, that submit spam, that try to get into our WP login. So what we do is create a firewall rule for that. We say if the threat score is higher than 15, and here are the bots we want to block. But again, we want to allow Bing and Google. We don't want to block those. Don't stress. I'll put all these, the great things about these firewall rules, with Cloudflare, you don't have to write them yourself. What I can do is we can copy and paste these expressions, and I'll put them in the channel, and then all you have to do is copy and paste them into your Cloudflare.
Oh, that's great. That makes it so much easier and so much simpler.
And the last rule is a challenge. So if somebody's going straight to, my account, the WP admin login, then what we want to do, and if the country, you can even put in, if it's not my country, so if it's my country, don't worry about it. If it's outside of my country, so it's unexpected,
of course,
give them a captcha. So give them a problem to solve. Pick the crosswalks, pick the lights, pick the chimneys. I've had once before. So put that up, and I've just spun this up today. And you can see that there's been 2 challenges straight to the WP admin within the last few hours. So they issued 2 and nobody solved it. So we know they're bots.
Yeah.
Straight off.
And I really like how, they're giving out, specified data to us so that we can actually know where it's coming from and what we should do next. So it's really nice, the whole interface of it.
Once you get confident, it's really simple to do. And the amount of security that it gives your WordPress website, not to mention Cloudflare is also a content delivery network. So it delivers the content. So your hosting could be anywhere in the world, and then it will deliver your content from the closest host. So that's the great thing about Cloudflare being a content delivery network. If you jump here into the overview, hopefully we have some results. Here you go. So here's a couple of blocks based on firewall rules, and this is in the last couple of hours. So you can already see it doing a great job and really securing our WordPress website.
Well, it's doing a great job. You're right. So let's just take some questions from our audience. We have a few questions that's already here for you, Anthony, I guess. So it's Najib asking us, do I still need to install any security plugin even though plugins like WooCommerce is a secure plugin? What do you have to say about that, Anthony?
100%. You should absolutely do it. And the reason why I should do it is also because, funnily enough, we keep on talking about WordFence. There are lots of firewall products out there. WordFence actually integrates a captcha into WooCommerce as well. So when your users type in their login for username and password, if they're returning customers, you can integrate WordFence to really raise the security of your WooCommerce store. So absolutely.
Yeah, I think, of course, probably WooCommerce secures itself, but there's no harm, taking no chances, secure your website as much as you can. So thanks you so much for your question, Najib, and it was a great question. We have another question from My Random Tech. So what they want to know is, when do I need to be concerned about my WordPress website security? What are the things that you need to know? Yeah,
it's really interesting. So a website that's been hacked is really interesting. I had a website that I didn't update, that I left. I was going to spin up a domain. I forgot about it. Came back when the domain was up for renewal, and it had been hacked. So this is me, and my own domain had been hacked because it really wasn't anything, and I really wasn't maintaining it. So you need to be concerned about your website security when you start to see little randomness, little things. A lot of people see in their SEO results, you'll get Japanese characters, which is a telltale sign. You won't be able to log in yourself. Your website will redirect to other websites, like gaming websites or affiliate websites that you have nothing to do with.
I actually had this. My website actually directed off to another website. So that's when I actually got concerned. So yeah.
Absolutely. So that's when you should be concerned, and preparation up front will prevent these issues. And as you can see, they're really simple.
Thank you so much, my random tech guy. I think you asked a very nice question. We're going to take one more question. We're going to take one more question from Mustain bin Arif. I think he's from Bangladesh, and he wants to know, how do you prevent malicious software attacks, basic malware attacks? How do you prevent them?
Malware attacks is, in my opinion, not too hard to prevent. So everything we've been discussing today, so if you do your preparation, so once you build your website, before you go live, there should be 2 phases. Phase number 1 is harden your server or harden your WordPress. Phase number 2 is speed it up for your users. And we discussed that in an earlier webcast, didn't we, Humara. So
Yeah.
make sure when you harden your website, do all the things we're talking about. Do all the things we've discussed today, and that's going to prevent at least 95% of attacks.
Yeah, I think thank you, Anthony, again for sharing such nice tips and tricks. And Mustain, thank you so much for giving us this nice question. Why don't you follow our whole webinar again? And I'm pretty sure it's going to help you out. We're going to take another question. It's from Tawhidul Islam. Oh, he has a huge question. So he wants to know, tell us how WordPress web security can help avoid SQL injection in a short period of time. As an example, we know that some hackers utilize Mozilla Firefox to hack or circumvent security in order to get access to the database. Do you have anything to tell to that?
Look, it's an interesting one. SQL injections are very popular. And if I went through my firewall list here on the other screen, I think we would find probably an SQL a try. Somebody's trying for an SQL injection. Harden your server. We can't begin to say enough. Harden. Make sure there are firewalls. Make sure your hoster has a firewall. Make sure you put your WordPress behind a firewall, and then also on your WordPress site, put your own firewall. So you need to balance that security layer, don't you, with speed. So you want to give your users a good outcome, but you want to balance that with security. And it's you walk a tightrope being a programmer between those two. Your websites, how popular your websites, you're going to increase those types of attacks. If you're just a mum and dad website, less likely somebody's going to want to take over your website.
So we have a lot of questions pouring. Thank you so much. The audience are very active today. We are going to come back to you. We're going to make sure we answer all of your questions. But coming back to you, Anthony, let's just go off topic. Why don't I think I wanted to know from all of our ambassadors. I just want to know, how did you actually come to the WordPress industry and what got you interested?
Such a long story. So I started developing. So I knew that I was always good at IT through high school, and I tell my friends I can't sport. That's why I IT. I'm just not coordinated enough. So I went straight to university and did a development, a programming degree. And thanks, Daniel.
Yeah.
So I did a programming degree, and ever since then, that was a long, long time ago. I started my programming degree in 1993. Moved on, did my MCSE, Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, and then I found once I had both, you're just fully employable, and off we went.
Oh, that's a pretty impressive story. That's great. So till now, have you been enjoying the world of WordPress? How do you find it? And do you see a future in this?
Look, I think the WordPress community is just great. It's really tight,
There's such
really
a nice
fun,
community.
and they want to help each other like this. They're not. We don't keep all our secrets to ourselves. We want you to enjoy, get out there, give it a go yourself. That's the WordPress community. It's just, I think WordPress being 43% of the internet is just absolutely unheard of. There's so many thousands and thousands of different programming languages, tools, builders, themes, content. For WordPress to have 43%, that means it's like Microsoft, really. You're getting to the point where a company should build on WordPress. And the reason why is because you're going to find a resource to be able to do what you need them to do. So let's say a lot of people may build your website, and then you may not get along with them, and you want to move hosting, or you want to do that person disappears. You're going to be able to find a resource with the knowledge to carry on rather than rebuild that website.
Yeah,
saving you a lot of money.
Yeah, I think WordPress community is one of the key reasons it also got me interested in this industry. The people are so helpful, and they're, it's so much information out there, and they can always come back to you and help you out if you're in any problem. And that's what makes WordPress more, close to my heart. So let's take another question. I think my random tech guy, he asked another question. The question is, when do I need to be this is like the old question, but he has made it more enhanced. When do I need to be concerned about my WordPress website security? I only maintain a simple blog with basic posts. I think the person wants a bit more specified tips from you.
Okay, so if you only maintain a simple blog with basic posts, you think, I don't need to do anything. But I think this domain that I had, that I loaded WordPress on and left it for a year, is a key example of you've got to do something. You've got to maintain it. This is where a lot of people, a lot of agencies, they charge for a care plan or a maintenance plan, because I really believe in them. So if you're getting charged X amount of dollars a month from your hoster, or you're the person who made your website, it's great, because if there's an update, if the update breaks your website, the onus is on them to fix your website. So they should be updating your website. They should be plugging these gaps. They should be maintaining your WordPress. So even if you have a simple blog with basic posts, you absolutely still need to be doing something.
Thank you again for your question, my random tech. I hope this has helped you. Again, if you still have questions, you can keep on asking us questions. We'll try our best to, answer them.
There's one from Jade there, which is a good one.
I think I'm going to show it to you. Do you mean Jade Johnson?
Yes.
So hello, Jade Johnson. Her question is, I have several deactivated plugins. Can that cause a problem? Should I remove my deactivated plugins? What's your answer?
This is such a great question, because we all do it. We all deactivate a plugin and we think, is that it? Is that done? The code's still there. The code and the age of that plugin. So maybe the world has moved on and you've still got version 1.1 of that plugin. Even though it's deactivated, the code is still there and it can be vulnerable. So absolutely, if you have deactivated plugins and for a long period of time, delete them. Absolutely delete them.
Yeah. I hope you got your question answer, Jade Johnson. And great question.
And that's common. We all do it.
Yeah, we all do it. I also have that really bad habit of keeping my, deactivated plugins. They keep on just, piling up. And I think that is pretty bad for your website in general. So yeah, Anthony, why don't we, thank you. Thank you so much. So cute. Anthony, why don't you tell us if there are any other hacks or tips that you wanted to give our, before going back to the questions, why don't you tell me a few hacks and tips, any other hacks and tips that you want to share to our audience?
Yeah, look, I would say at the end of the day, backups. Your hosting provider, make sure they do backups. Ask them how often they do backups. Is it 15 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? Is it overnight? Some hosting providers do it monthly. Some hosting providers don't do it at all. So let's say you want to make a change. There's two things. You know that, okay, at the end of the day, people are offline. I'll make a little change. If I break something the next day, okay, I know I can roll back. If my website is hacked, do you have enough backups that you can roll back? 90% of people have cPanel. You can actually back it up yourself in cPanel and download it yourself. So that's a great option. So if your hosting provider won't back up your site or doesn't do it enough, you can do it yourself. So if your website has been hacked, you should be able to restore it. Unfortunately, Shah's website has been hacked. What should I do now? So a couple of options for you. You need to find somebody to clean it. A purist like me would say it's time to wipe and start again. And that's what nobody wants to hear. Because if you don't wipe and start again, the vulnerabilities could always be there. So that's option number one. Sometimes that's just not an option for a lot of people. Option number two is to find a provider. There's lots of providers out there for WordPress that'll come in and clean up your website and remove the hack, remove the injections, and they'll fix it for you. So if you are unable to, at the moment, fix your website yourself, it's time to come and pay someone, unfortunately.
We're very sorry to hear this, Niloy.
Yes.
But I hope you can take some, advice from us and fix your website. We have Kafle joining with us, who is our brand ambassador from Nepal. Thank you so much, Kafle, for sending out your thoughts. Basically, these are the things that you need to follow. Anthony, is there anything else that you would like to add for our audience before we dive into the questions again?
No, look, I think there's some great questions today.
Yeah, there's very good questions today. There's another question from Arif saying that, how do you manage denial of service, DDoS attacks? Do you have any idea about that?
Yeah, so I personally manage them. So you're hosting. Let's start at the host level. So at the host level, hopefully your hosting company is doing something about that. There's only so much they can do. At the next level, for all my personal websites, Cloudflare is my answer. So if you come up here, Cloudflare actually has free DDoS protection. So nothing is going to be perfect. And it actually has a section where you can actually say, I'm under attack. So if you're under attack, you can select that in Cloudflare, and they'll raise all the shields that they can for you.
Arif, I think you got your answer. Thank you so much for giving us the question. I hope you guys got few tips and tricks from us. Of course, we couldn't cover all of the topics, but these are the few topics we thought that it's very important that you guys should know about and, give more emphasis. And we're getting amazing questions from our audience today. They're pretty active. Thank you so much. Anthony, coming back to you, from your experience, have you ever yourself gotten into such situation where your own website security was hampered, and how did you tackle it? Did you have any situations like this?
Yeah, look, for this website that I had that was taken over with a SQL injection, most likely, because that was redirecting. That was redirecting to another one, and it was just, as developers, we spin up sites that that's going to be the next big thing, and it was just left there. The only way I practiced what I preach. I deleted the site. That was the only way, and not only that, I changed the entire domain. Because it also had been blacklisted by Google. So yes, so as soon as Google realizes that it's redirecting, you'll get the red page, and it says, hey, this is not the page you're looking for. So if anybody ever does that, make sure that you don't go to those pages, because Google is trying to tell you something. Look, make sure also on your admin page, don't use admin as your username. That's a big one. Disable that or rename it. When installing WordPress, do not select the default admin, because they've already got half the credentials. Make it some other name and do a complex password. And simple things. All the browsers now, especially Google's a big fan of, if you type in a password, it'll tell you if that password has been in a data breach. There's a website, Have I Been Pawned, PAWNED, which works with the largest databases in the world to see if that username and or password has been exposed in a data breach. It has, I think, 90+% of all data breaches. So by going to this website, we see if our passwords have been exposed.
Great advice. And you're right. It's just the simple tips and tricks, the simple things that you have to do. Password is very important. Some people, even I used to do it, I guess, just, give very simple password like your name, and we just add few numbers. That doesn't really work. You make sure it's a good and strong, strong password to protect your website. We have another question from Arshidina Umara Najib. She wants to ask, our business is a very busy e-commerce site. Should I hire a security expert in case our site gets hacked? What do you have to say to that?
I would say if you don't have the skills in-house, I would definitely suggest, if it's an e-commerce site especially, and brand is obviously very important to you, the website's very important to you, the revenue it generates you is very important, spend a couple of $100 on a security expert. Absolutely. Look, and if you drop us a line in the Australian community, I can point out a few people for you.
So yeah, if you take few measures now, it's going to be sustainable for your websites in future. I think if it's better to take measures, it's better to be it's better to be secured than to be sorry.
Absolutely.
I think we're having a bit of an internet connectivity issue today here, since the weather is a bit crazy in Bangladesh today.
Oh, unfortunately, we just lost. So what we can do now is, Santosh, you've asked a question: which caching plugin will you suggest to use with Cloudflare? So I've just gone on, Umara, and with the questions, Santosh.
Yeah.
A great caching plugin that I use personally is Lightspeed. So Lightspeed, and you know what? I'll be specific. If you are starting out in your WordPress journey, WP Rocket. Press a few buttons and you'll get good results. Don't use NitroPack.
Of course.
There's a lot of fudging of the results, which Google is becoming aware of, and actually it's a negative result to your website. What do I use personally? I use Lightspeed. I use Lightspeed because you can really configure the detail, and it works great. And it works, I believe it's the fastest one out there. Your host has to be compatible.
Thank you so much for your question, Santosh. It's a great question. And I'm also apologizing to my audience for the lagging, because the weather is a bit crazy in Bangladesh today. So the internet is a bit down, but I still hope you guys are enjoying the live session. We have another question. Oh, wow. Today the questions are just pouring in. You have a lot to answer to the audience, Anthony. Buckle up. A question from Manjurul Hawk is that, how can I tell my WordPress theme and plugins are secure? Do you have any answer to that?
Great question.
Great question.
And the way to answer that is they are secure if they're up to date. So again, hackers use exploits that have been published. So 9 times out of 10, a significant amount of time has elapsed between the publication of their exploit to when they're trying to exploit your website. Significant, 3+ months at least. So by just maintaining your website, so right now you should be on WordPress, 4.8.1. Make sure your update buttons have all been updated and they're ready to all the latest plugins, and you'll be fine. If you've not looked at your hosting, if you've not looked at your WordPress admin console, then yes, I'd be doubting myself.
Thank you so much for your question. It's a great question that you asked. The questions keep on coming. I think they really like our session, Anthony. So I think till now we have gotten a lot of engagement. So again, since our time is very short, and audience, thank you so much for asking such nice questions. I think it's time that we can, close our live session. It's actually, we have shortage of time, sadly. Before that, I would also like to add to our audience is that thank you so much for joining, and especially to our Australian audience out there. Please do join our group. I have mentioned the group link in our comment section. This group is, especially, specified to our Australian audience so that they can, get more engaged with weDevs, and so that we can specifically arrange their queries. And Anthony, do you have any ending notes to our audience that you would like to give?
Just for the amount of questions, I'm happy to take any or explain in more detail. Hit me up anytime. Take it back to the weDevs community group, and I'm happy to answer any question that you have. I will absolutely get back to you.
Thank you so much again to our audience for joining us, and it's been great. It's been a great live session, and you guys have been very interactive today, and I hope we could have answered all of our questions as much as we can. Please again follow us on our YouTube, on our Twitter, so that you can stay updated on the webinars. And to our Australian audience, you can, join our Facebook group so that we can, Anthony and I especially can come in contact with you and help you out with all of your queries.
Rather than those numbers there, facebook.com/groups, weDevs Australia is the easy way.
Yeah, it is the easy way. Yeah. Thank you so much, Anthony, again. I hope you have a great day, and I hope our audience has, enjoyed our session.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.